Don, and this is my ghost encounter. Back in the early 60s, we lived in a place called Campbell Park in Chicago. And actually, we lived in 3 houses in that neighborhood, in that block in Campbell Park. And I remember that we moved into the first one. It was probably 1966, 67. We moved into this big old house, and it was just even spooky looking from the curb. Built in the early 1900s, I guess. But yeah, we moved in there, and then you could tell right away, you know, that there was just something about the house. It wasn't until later I found out that the house had a parlor. And in this parlor, it's like, well, what's a parlor? It was another room, you know, off to itself in the front of the house. And it had double doors to go into the living room, and on the side had a little side door, went to the little hallway to go back outside the front door. And my mom would try to get me to go play in there. And the first time I got in there and closed the door, I didn't want to be in there. It's broad daylight. I just gave me the heebie-jeebies, and somehow it came up in conversation. I remember that's when they told me that back in the day, if somebody passed away in your family or whatever like that, they would display the body in this parlor room. So I was just like, ooh, you know, and they closed the doors when it was over, the double doors to the rest of the house, and then open the little door and take you out, take whoever out front. But anyway, and another thing that I noticed right away is the anger. My parents just fought all the time. Myself and my sisters, we fought. It was just kind of weird, especially between me and my sisters. And well, one night my parents got into a fight, and a tiff, let's say. And my parents got into a tiff, and my mom slept in my room, and I slept in my sister's room at the foot of their bed. And I woke up to my oldest sister pinching the far out of my leg. I mean, she is just... So I started kicking her. I mean, I woke up in pain, you know, it hurt, and I started kicking at my sister. And the bedroom was well illuminated because the house had like extraordinarily big single windows. You know, they would open up, but they were like tall and wide. So the room was pretty much lit up with just the moonlight. So while I'm kicking at my sister, I notice while I'm looking down at her that she's looking past me. And then I kicked her hand off my leg. She stopped pinching, but she didn't take her focus off what was past me. And at the end of the bed was the bedroom door, you know. So when I looked up, I just seen this door. And I went like this, and that's when I saw it. It was, we called him the Red Man. Now, he wasn't a solid red man, but you could see through this red man. So I just froze, and the Red Man just walked straight into the room to my sister's dresser. And on the dresser, I remember I had a glow-in-the-dark Creature of the Black Lagoon. My sister liked it, so I made it, and I gave it to her as a present. Well, anyway, the Red Man just started swiping everything off the top of the dresser. I mean, and it was flying. And it flew over, and it hit this closet door, folding closet door. And the crazy thing was, it didn't make a sound. With my little model and my sister's stuff on the dresser, it just didn't make a sound. And then it pulled out a drawer. It was definitely like looking for something, it seemed like. And through the drawer in the floor, and then the second drawer pulled it out, and it just stopped. And that's when I put my head under the sheet. And it was like, well, I don't, you know, I just want it to go away. So my oldest sister, she put her head under the sheet, and my baby sister, she was oblivious to the whole thing. She was just sleeping. And woke up the next morning, and like I said, with that big window, the sun was shining in there. The whole room was lit up with sunshine. And just laid there for a second, got my thoughts like, that was one heck of a dream. And to my complete surprise, I sat up in the bed and looked over, and everything was off the dresser. It was up against the closet door, folding closet door, laying in the floor. The 2 drawers were out, and I just got out of bed, ran down, started screaming at my parents. They thought we were nuts. They thought, you're having a bad dream again, or this or that. I didn't like that house. There were other things in that house I didn't like that were kind of spooky to me as a kid. But when my oldest sister came down too with the exact same story, and I showed my parents the welt on my leg where my sister was pinching me to wake me up, I think they kind of believed it, but didn't know how to react about it. They're kind of like scratching their heads. But never saw it again after that. That's it.